Thank you, Mark. This was no mini budget. It was a big, meaty package, and there was some soaring rhetoric too from Chancellor Kwasi Kwarteng. There are too many barriers for enterprise, the Chancellor said. We are turning a vicious cycle of stagnation into a virtuous cycle of growth. Well, how does he and the rest of the government team propose to do that? First up in today's statement, and he stressed we needed to do this first, is confirming that household energy price cap, capping the unit cost of both gas and electricity so the average household will pay this year no more than £2,500 for average families. That help lasts for 2 years. On top of that, the Chancellor confirmed there's £400 grant for all families and another £650 for particularly vulnerable families. A huge package of measures, which the Chancellor said would cost around £60 billion rather than the hundreds of billions that some have speculated. It wasn't just households. There was also an energy support package for business. This is what we heard about earlier this week. That lasts only 6 months, controversially, though the help will be equivalent to that for households in terms of a capped unit cost. You still pay more if you use more energy, but the unit cost is capped, and that is for businesses, charities, and indeed the public sector, so NHS, hospitals and state schools as well. Then there was the reversal of Rishi Sunak's measures. April's 1.25% rise in national insurance contributions, NICs as we recall them, reversed from November the 6th, said the Chancellor. That's worth around £330 to the average household, and those NIC reversals, they also apply to businesses. Another reversal of Rishi Sunak on corporation tax. So important, corporation tax to businesses, particularly small businesses. Paying corporation tax really messes with their cash flow. It won't go to 25% next year, as was legislated by the former Chancellor. It will be frozen at 19%. Then some good news for those youngsters trying to get on the housing ladder and everybody trying to buy their own home. Stamp duty on domestic property, nil band is to double. That's the rate at which you don't pay council tax. You pay stamp duty. You pay no stamp duty on the first £125,000 of any house purchase. That has now doubled to £250,000. And many people will say it's about time, because that £125,000 nil band threshold was set in March 2006. And since then, of course, house prices have gone a lot. So many more people are paying a lot more stamp duty. And then there was particular help on stamp duty for first-time buyers. First-time buyers, they don't pay stamp duty on any purchase up to £300,000. That's now going to go up to £425,000. And the valuation limit, that's the amount that first-time buyers are allowed to spend on their first home to benefit from that nil band, goes up from £500,000, 500,000 there, to 625,000. And the Chancellor was determined to say these changes to stamp duty are permanent. He's trying not to spark a rush, a frenzy on the housing market, jacking prices up more as people try and take advantage of this stamp duty holiday. This is not a holiday, according to the Chancellor. This is a permanent change. And then the mighty rabbit out of the hat. This is Thumper out of Watership Down. This is the equivalent to what Nigel Lawson did in 1988 with his budget. The top additional tax rate of 45% is going to be abolished completely, and there'll be a single that applies over £150,000 if you're lucky enough to earn that much, and the single higher rate of £40,000 will apply to all higher earners. That's going to drive a lot of headlines tomorrow in the Chancellor's favour, which is what he would have wanted. And then in addition to that, there will be a cut in the basic rate of income tax. That's for everybody. That's going down from 20% to 19% in April 2023. We need to focus on growth, not just how we tax and spend, said Chancellor Kwarteng. But none of this will happen overnight. I think if we can just change the slide, that would be helpful. The Chancellor really is taking a gamble. As well as these measures, we've got investment zones coming in. We've got reform to IR35. That will help a lot of freelance contractors. This is a gamble. This is a roll of the dice. If the government can convince financial markets, particularly the currency markets, that this gamble on growth. This growth package works. It may be that they'll get away with it.